like, that's a good feeling. When you set goals for yourself each week and start hitting them, it's a different type booster, for you. That's something you need. I think that's just something you should carry in life. Always set goals for yourself, man, and be willing to, check things out the list. Like,
Hey guys, I'm back with another episode of Mental Wealth. This podcast is used to express thoughts, experiences, and lessons. I aim to be as transparent as possible. If you enjoy an episode, please don't forget to like, comment, and tell a friend. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back to Mental Wealth. In today's episode, I'll be interviewing one of my friends, Mike Sawyer. In today's episode, we plan to talk about the mental hurdles athletes face after sports injuries and how to overcome them.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, my guys, ladies and gentlemen? Well, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I really appreciate you bringing me on, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for even letting me interview you. It's probably been a year since our last interview. So do you care to catch people up with what you're doing currently and who you
Yeah,
are?
yeah, for sure, man. So yeah, pretty much right now, I'm still in the performance training world. Pretty much still just doing athlete performance training as well as one-on-one personal training. Right now, I currently have my Be Your Own Brand training business. I have my LLC. Now I got my website up, trainbyob.com. Shout out to my guys and shout out to my family member, my guy, my blood, Barry Amos Jr. That's my business partner I'm with right now. Shout out to my guy, man. But other than that, I'm also currently working at Patterson High School as the personal fitness teacher here. I run personal fitness classes here, and I also work with a bunch of different programs in the school. Our public safety program is one of the programs I work with. But yeah, my one thing, I pride myself on is really just giving back. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And also, I got my family right now. My son, my little man, he about to be one. Man, it's a blessing. Um, it's just crazy, bro. It's like life moved too fast, bro. And, it's definitely a blessing, to be where I'm at right now. And, you know, having guys like yourself, play a part in my journey. And, it's nothing but love, man. And, seeing you continue to grow yourself, man. And, we just continue to grow and be the men, that we're supposed to be and reach our full potential, bro. And I see you doing your thing. Keep doing it, bro. But that's where I'm at, bro. Ain't nothing new. Just continue to grind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I greatly appreciate that. How did you get involved with what you're currently doing? What made you want to start working with athletes post playing?
I think, just having my love for the game, was really my biggest thing, my passion for just sports in general. I was a three-sport athlete, in high school, track, basketball, and football as well. So playing those sports, one thing I just gave it my all and then kind of, just found my niche with football, but throughout my journey with that, I was like, man, I would love to teach guys, a lot of things, that I made mistakes with throughout my journey, and how to capitalize on a lot of those things that I went through, as well as just give back knowledge, because at the end of the day, one thing I can say about myself, I was just a smart athlete, as well as, especially in football, I was a really smart football player. Having IQ in football was one of the biggest things I prided myself on, so it's kind of like just really giving guys that knowledge and teaching and coaching and teaching guys how to, set a standard for themselves. So that was one thing, I pretty much went into with coaching, it's really just wanting to give back that passion for the game, and then just letting these young guys and young ladies know, like, it's people that came before you, that put in the time, the blood, sweat, and tears. You gotta have respect for this game. Just not only your sport, just in life.
Yes, sir. I'm finding a lot of times people try to cheat the game, and you can't never
No, for
cheat the
sure.
game.
Yeah, run up on you real quick, bro. That's why you gotta make sure you just continue to just be you. Stay focused on it. It's a crazy world, as we all know. So you just gotta stay focused for sure.
Yes, sir. Do you care to share with the audience about your past injury history?
Yeah, man. I think, the biggest thing, that I encountered, was my back injury. What was that? It was after that COVID year. Yeah, right after that COVID year. I believe that was around 21, going into 22, I believe. So that one year, I end up what? No, let's roll it back, roll it back. So we actually at what was it? Winter workouts. That's where it all started. Winter workouts. But in 20, going into 22, that winter workout season, it was the COVID year. That was as we were going on to the following season when we can run things live. So we had that spring season, and then that following season was live. So after that, I end up during that winter workout, I end up hurting my back. One day I woke up and I felt like my whole left leg done shut down. I was like, man, what the heck going on? I got workouts in about like 30 minutes, bro. I gotta go. So I'm going to walk, and I'm like, man, my leg all numb, can't even walk. But kind of find out, man, after sitting out that one workout, that was probably the first time I didn't ever sat out a workout, bro. I ain't never missed workouts, practice,
Uh,
nothing. I was like, bro,
you're a
like,
competitor.
yeah, I was a competitor, because even I'll go, to go into, other injuries that I kind of, push through. But, this was one of my biggest injuries was my back injury. So I end up having a really bad pinched nerve in my back. So I ended up having sciatica right down my leg. So it's just basically the piriformis muscle was compressing against my sciatic nerve, shooting down my leg. So after that, I could barely have mobility in any of my joints in my leg. As my muscles felt like they were really shutting down. And, the whole left side of my body, was affected by that. I knew for a fact, I was a hardworking guy because God, like, bro, Mike, you ain't hurt. I can't walk right now, bro. Like, I'm coming to work out, crumping. I'm like, oh my God, bro. I felt like my whole left side of my body shut down. They're like, Mike, you good, bro? Hopping around. I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna lie. This one is the
Yeah, I
one
can't
time I
shake
knew
this one off.
yeah, I can't shake this one off. It's usually, I'm like, all right, get jogging, get things warmed up. I was like, nah, bro, this is crazy. So I end up sitting out that whole year. I had my red shirt, so I end up using that, But using that year, that's when I end up coaching. I actually ended up coaching at West Virginia Wesleyan. I was a DB coach up there. My coach pretty much had trust in me to coach the young guys, because I was a senior at the time, to coach the young guys. Pretty much gave me the control of the DB room, watch film with them, coach them out there on the field. So that's what I did with my, injury path. I didn't, just be one of those guys like, man, this is a huge obstacle. I'm about to sit out my senior year, something I was looking forward to. Being a 4 year starter, man, it was like something I look forward to my whole life. It felt like, like reaching that, you like, man, I'm at the finish line again. You in high school sometimes, and you graduate, and then you like, oh man, I still got some gas left in the tank. But
Yeah.
once you hit that college, it's kind of like if you had your chance at the league, which I ended up doing, after this injury and stuff. But having a chance at the league or pursuing something in life and whatever aspiration you have, so that was something I really look forward to. I was like, man, like this is the time to really take that next chapter in my life. After high school and then going to college. But once I got injured, it was like, man, like this real. Like, it did put me definitely in a dark place. I say, had that passion for football. It's like you wake up. I wake up when I was in college. I probably woke up around even before we really had workouts. Even still, I was waking up at 4:30, 5 a.m. sometimes. Just to get an early start, just on anybody.
Yeah.
Really just myself. I want to grow myself and just continue to have that discipline. But not. I mean, waking up during that time was real hard for me. Continue what I was saying. Yeah, man. But yeah, during that time, it was hard for me, to wake up just not, knowing that I can't play my sport right now. Even though we like, we're going to get healthy, get in PT, but even still, I was hurt, on a different level. That's my senior year that was taken away from me. But, even in that darkness, in that adversity, I learned to keep going, because I had to do rehab while I was there. The crazy thing is with pinched nerves, they do a bunch of different intense training, like some dry needling. I don't know if people really, know how intense dry needling treatment is. It's actually really intense, with those needles, and they drive it, they reach those lower muscles and deeper muscles as well, in those areas. But yeah, it was an intense rehab, I would say, but it took me about a year and a half, so I sat out the whole season, and then finally ground myself up, end up transferring. And then, God blessed me with another opportunity to go to Concord. And ball out that final year, but it was definitely something that hit me hard with that injury, and then I say another injury was definitely in high school. My very price put me in was probably my first concussion. Something was like that's something I
Yep.
remember. Like it's like hard to remember, because obviously it's a little hard to remember. People told me kind of what happened, and I'm like, I'm guessing that's what happened, but what my first concussion, bro? I was like, playing the sport. We always try to learn how to tackle. Fitting up, having our head up, being safe. But sometimes, you get in those moments during football sometimes, and you stick your nose in there. You might come out a little broken. Your nose might be crooked to the side a little bit, but you just gonna snap it back and flee. But there's one, play I was at that time. I was playing on defense. Came down off the outside, pulling guard, came around. Them boys, they trying to take your head off. So
Yeah.
he went dome first at me. I went to go try to take out his legs, make a power. Boy, hit me right in the head, boy. I swear.
Mm.
It felt like that was the last thing I remember right there. It felt like a flash. I felt like my ears was ringing. And I was like, man, bro, like what's going on? And I felt like I woke up and I was like, man, sun all bright. Ain't gonna lie, the first concussion was crazy. That was something that opened my eyes to, just being even more, it's a little bit more safe, about tackling. But that's how I knew right then that football ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah.
Because then, right after that concussion, a bunch of other stories happened. I was seeing online about guys being paralyzed and stuff like that. And I was like, man, you know, that could have been me, So it was like right then and I knew that's when I took tackling by far. Like I gotta work on that crap every day.
Yeah.
I ain't playing no matter what. I gotta protect myself at all times. But sometimes in football you can't control this stuff. You can't
Yeah.
control a lot of things that happen. It's a bang bang play at times, and sometimes things just happen without us knowing. Sometimes, or it just naturally because of the sport so physical things happen. But at the end of the day, if we can come up, get a good fit on a guy with tackling, then, you're going to be safe about it. So we're going to get a good fit. We're going to get a good drive and, make the play. But, those are like two injuries I would say in my life that really put me in a different mental space, and it took me time to grow from them. There was also a couple other injuries I would just, I definitely, I think for sure I tore my labrum, for sure. It was something I ain't never, that was one injury I would say I probably should have got checked out, and, me being who I am, let's go. I ain't worrying about no shoulder injury. But for sure, it's affecting me now, after done with sports. I ain't gonna lie, when I go hop on that bench, I mean, sometimes that shoulder, I can't work it like I used to. I will definitely say that for sure. But then there was like a couple of knee injuries and ankle injuries. But those, like I said, I kind of felt like I had a different mentality with those that just pushed through. But then first concussion, that back injury my senior year for sure. You gotta learn how to grow from a lot of these adverse situations for sure.
How do you think the injury affected your mindset and your self identity? Because I know like we play this game since we were kids. So like just
Mm-hmm.
having a game taken from you that fast, like in the flash, it makes you realize like how fragile life is and how fragile the
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm. I would say self identity, it definitely makes you question yourself for sure. Question some things like you constantly ask yourself why me, why this, why that, But with a lot of these injuries, you got to learn to stay true to yourself.
Hmm.
And growing takes time, and just like these adverse situations, they take a lot of time too. You feel me? So we got to be able to stay true to ourselves, stay true, stay self disciplined, stay self focused, with our self identity. And will a lot of these things affect you in different ways? Yes, because I question if I was even like sometimes I was like, man, am I a bad football player or something, bro? Like,
Yeah.
was I not just doing something right? Was I not being a good athlete and even protecting myself? Doing the right technique with things, and then something like this just happened over time. Because for sure, I was like, I took mobility a lot more serious than I should have taken care of my body a lot different. Because I was like, man, like I affected myself. I think I should have done a little bit more. Looking back at the situation, done a lot more. Just taking care of myself just a little bit more. I was in the training room every day, especially over years. You know how I get. Probably that year 3, year 4, your body starting to get a little beat up with college football for sure. So you gotta be in there. But I think I probably could have even took the next step to probably take that extra day, one more day, maybe a third day. You feel me? So I started questioning really myself in a lot of those situations. So
what were the biggest challenges that you think you faced during recovery? Well, challenges,
mental,
period.
I would say the first thing that I really struggled with was, obviously having the sport taken away from me. That's something you love doing. I mean, it wasn't, taken away from me permanently, thank God, but for that temporary moment during that time, I was saying I was in the mindset of, I just felt like my life got stripped away, you know? That's how I felt when, at the moment, when I really was like, went out there, I was like, bro, I can't walk, I can't really do too much right now because my whole lower body a little messed up, man. Like, that hurt, bro. And, I like went to a mental dark place because I was like, this not happening, bro. Like, I felt like, who now at that time, I was when I was in that dark place, I was questioning like, man, am I even gonna get healthy? During those hard times where you start questioning, a lot of those things, like trying to get over those mental, and it's hard, bro. It's definitely hard, when you at that moment, before we really grow through that adverse situation, we all like everybody has that moment when you hit that wall, you're like, man, what the
Yeah.
like, why, bro? Like, come on. Then we, yeah, like, why? I mean, then we start tapping into our emotions. Like, we're ticking time bomb at that point.
Yeah.
You feel me? And when adverse situations happen, we all had that moment, like, man, like, but when you have a lot of faith, bro, when you have a lot of faith, amazing things happen though, and I look at it as, God put us through tests for a reason. And he has a specific plan for each of us. Our problems are, I think, in my opinion, truly made for us.
Yeah.
Like God was like, I know what I already got planned for you. I already know what you're gonna go through. But right down the road a little bit, it's a little roadblock, shorty. But I mean, based off, a bunch of things I put you through already, you're gonna be ready for that roadblock.
Yeah.
And we don't know it at that moment, but maybe that 2, 3, or a month, however long it take you. But
Years.
that's
So
when we got. I mean, sometimes, yeah, sometimes it
yeah.
take years for some people to really get over things, and you can't speed up life for anybody, man. And that's the thing. Like sometimes everybody got their own pace, everybody got their own journey, So like I said, God, he made things specifically for us and has a purpose for every specific purpose at that, you know. And it's like, and the good thing about it, bro, he's sending everybody on a specific mission. Some of us together on the same mission. But if we willing to be assets to each other, a lot of different things happen. So, but yeah, that's man, that's faith. It's crazy to think. It's just crazy, bro. It's like it's an undefeated word. Like that's one thing my father always told me. Like even my lady said it all the time to me, man. Like shout out to her, shout out to my lady, shout out Jazz, man, shout
Yes,
out Jazz,
sir.
man. But nothing but love. She for sure, has been another, partner, support for me, to like grow, help me out. And those, like, that's why, even with that, God has specific problems for us, but He got specific people to help us through some of those problems.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, that's a person, even blessed me with a son. It's it's a blessing I didn't know I needed, bro. Even with that, I mean, but that's a story for another day. Just just being a family man, it comes with stresses too. But we can talk about that. But we sticking to injuries. But it's you gotta be able to have growth out here and be limitless. And God has He know our limit. And honestly, sometimes if you got the right mindset, he rolling with you and He gonna say you limitless.
Yes, sir. How do you think you stayed motivated during the recovery phase and positive?
How I stayed motivated during the phase, I lucky enough, I had during that time my mom, shout out to Caution T, and shout out to Mike, my pops, man.
Big
T.
Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike. Shout out to Caution and Big Mike, man, for sure. And my little sister T, because having them three in our household, during these ended times or any other hard times that I ever had in life, I know I can come back to my home and have a great support system, and that's how I really stayed motivated was definitely, my father, every single day he says, love you, have a good day. And that's a blessing, and that's what
That's
you
a
never know you
blessing.
need because it's a blessing, because every single day, God has blessed us both with another time to even encounter each other,
Yeah.
and even encounter my family, and having that support system throughout my injury really was something I knew I could lay back on. And I know they're gonna continue to push me. They'll continue to push me. And without, their support, I think I definitely would have never grew. And, having great, I definitely had some great teammates as well. I would definitely say that for sure too. Even though a lot of guys were younger than me, I was like the oldest guy in my DB room. It was still, young guys, for example, my guy Don Woods, playing at Fayetteville State, and the boy's a dog, but he was a young and I knew, me and him had some real good conversations, even though big bro, little bro. But at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you gonna listen to a youngin for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes. For sure. Because we all gonna pick each other brain, at the end of the day, and grow from each other, having guys around you like that. Everybody trying to do, like I said, everybody on the same mission sometimes. We all trying to get to where we be. So having great teammates, having a great family, and then just having some good friends around. That's how I really got through all of it. And then it was really, football as well. Having that mentality to go into this injury like game every single PT appointment is game day.
Routine.
Yes, having a good routine. Also, being organized and like honestly, a lot of people don't realize, man. Now that I know, having, having a great character throughout football, on top of being as a hard worker and dedicated guy, when you hit this injury, even though at that moment it was like, man, why is this happening? But, that next day when we get that time to go back to rehab and do our thing, it's game day, it's time to go, but we didn't already prepare for this. And we didn't even know, so we was already planning, football for general, them practices, a lot of situations in football, we could take a lot of those lessons and use it, in life.
Yeah.
And I think, with, having that, something as simple as, like I always talk about them
control. Yeah.
That's
control
it,
what
bro.
you control. What is it? Even what was that period we used to do? It'd be like, we immediately start practice. They'd be like ones. And like we'll start practice just
And then you go
like,
1-on-1. The ones go take them competition period. Something simple as that, like that. Like you gotta be able to, like, all right, like it's time to go, bro. Like I just fresh warmed up. I ain't even get no DB drills. I ain't get no.
I ain't got no water.
I ain't got no water yet. I came out. I'm working hard on the warm. I'm sweating. Give me a sip, and I'm ready to go into the that indie period. But nah, cause like ones. Like it's go time. But situations like that, you hit that injury, it just might be another day in the office. If you treat it like that. And that's something you gotta be willing to do.
What role do you think goal setting played in your journey?
Goal setting. So definitely, because that's something me and my trainer, that my physical therapist during that time, we definitely would write down on our calendar like I probably say every 3 weeks we checking in on, how good my back is, and setting those little goals each week is good. Because that's gonna make you feel accomplished. That week of work that you put in, you dead tired. You putting in that work trying to get yourself right, and you hit that Friday, and you like, man, I done made some progress. Like that's a good feeling. When you set goals for yourself each week and start hitting them, it's a different type booster. For you. That's something you need. I think that's just something you should carry in life. Always set goals for yourself, man, and be willing to check things out the list. Like each day in my schedule, I have, everything written down. I gotta get check it off. Be willing to do that and set goals. You know what I mean? The goals will help you a lot. Each step, following each step, and then boom, you get reward. Ain't nothing more better and worthwhile than that.
And I also think that goals help you visualize your progress because, like, when you do something, when you're doing something every day, you can't see you don't see the 1% that you've gotten better every day. Like you're not seeing that if you look at yourself every day. But if you write down a list of specific goals and then you can see the goals being accomplished, then eventually you look up 6 months from that moment you started and you're a whole different person.
Right. It's like you really drawing a picture for yourself. And then like that term I always go crazy, man, with the, life is a canvas. Like something simple as that. And like you said, you drawing a perspective. That's crazy.
How do you think having a strong support system is?
How important is it? It's very important. I mean, it's probably the most important thing you can do because at the end of the day, we all, have this stereotypical perspective of ourselves sometimes, of our own selves, that we are the toughest individual in this planet. We all think we the biggest, the baddest. Because at the end of the day, you gotta have some type of confidence about yourself. We all, gonna carry ourselves a certain way. And at the end of the day, it's you over anybody at the end of the day, sometimes, in certain situations. but a support system, man. It will take you a long way and so far, you know, because we'll hit a wall sometimes. And sometimes you go to get up and you looking around like, man, like, where is everybody? We get in those situations sometimes like, where is everybody? Why is this happening? But when you can get up, broken, beaten, stabbed all up, you can get up and have your mother, have your father, have your sister, have your brother, uncle, best friend, partner, and to have them just motivate you and push you just a little bit more. That sometimes will push you even further than you can push yourself sometimes. And even though we like, man, I can run this race by myself, I can win this race, but just by, that little whisper from your support system saying, yo, God got you and you got this. We got you. Man, I'm running faster than Usain Bolt down that mug, but it's a blessing. And, you know, God, like, going back to what I said before, man, God he know what he doing up there. And he creates, a village for you. And sometimes when you get older, you might have to build that empire. And when you have your own family and it just continues to grow, that it just even builds even more support system and love, and that's the biggest thing. Love take you far, ain't gonna lie. Love take you far sometimes. It's when you utilize it in the right way, takes you far. And you got people that care about you and love you. That's all you need, bro.
Let me start by recording. All right. Do you have any techniques? Well, do you have any techniques you use to rebuild your confidence after this injury?
You got your heart, you got your brain, that are definitely huge tools in those situations, bro. So I think, definitely fighting between those two is definitely, but you got to definitely utilize, your heart and your brain for sure. Because learning how to think, being very versatile is one of my biggest tools, is being adaptive, and that was something I utilized during my injuries, is just adapting to my situation at that point. At first it was hard, the hardest couple of weeks, in my life. But once you start to adjust, create a own system for yourself, like you said, routine, it becomes a lot easier, So being very adaptive, that was one tool, as well as just being, self-discipline. That's another huge tool, being willing to really, there's no wiggle room here. You can't be over there and be right here. You can't have your foot over there and then try to reach all the way across the street. Try your foot over there. Just be where your feet are and be where your feet are. So self-discipline, versatility, adaptation, and character, and, stand, like I said before, stand true to who you are. But, when you really built on something, certain foundation, certain way you carry yourself, certain standard, you're gonna really take a lot of these situations, just ball it up, and man, it's just another piece of paper that we're gonna ball up and make it in the trash at this point. Those are definitely some tools right there.
Yes, sir. I like that. How do you think athletes can benefit from having professional support like in a situation like this? I know when I was playing and stuff, we didn't have a team therapist. Like you might have a team chaplain at the most, but you really don't have this to talk to anybody about the mental health because you could go through all your rehab, do everything right, and if you can't get over the mental hump of the injury or being scared of re-injury and losing confidence in yourself, how do you think this affects people?
I think, having a mental therapist is very important. It goes a huge way, with guidance. And because having a therapist will help you see a lot of your situations from a different perspective, and a non-biased perspective of that, it's something I like, because I got a therapist later in life, not during my injury. Lucky enough, I had my support system during that time, but later in life, I got a therapist. Like right now, I currently have a therapist just to keep myself shut. And I don't, that's something I think I shied away from. Was just seeking help. I mean, not only seeking, because after a while you grow up. You're talking to your parents. I mean, even though you feel very comfortable talking to your parents or your sister, your brother, your girlfriend, whatever. But, you get kind of comfortable talking to them all the time. Sometimes in certain situations and you start to think, just like them, where you got to think for yourself sometimes. So then it's also very helpful. So when you do see a therapist, they're talking to you. This is like sometimes, especially that first appointment, with a therapist, it's like that breaking, what they used to call it in school, with breaking ice, breaking
Yeah.
ice. So the icebreakers.
Yeah.
So it's something like that. At that first experience, you talking to a whole stranger at this point, and I gotta be willing to open up myself, get out of myself to a stranger. That's something that's hard to do at first, but going into therapy, you gotta be open minded, and don't be so enclosed in yourself, and be comfortable with talking to your own support system. Get out of your own support system sometimes. Be willing to stick that hand out and be willing to shake that therapist's hand. Because that could change whatever your situation truly is sometimes. So I think definitely having a therapist during your injury will take you even further. Who knows if I would have got a therapist during that time, how maybe mentally sharp I probably would have been. I think now, I'm growing and putting a lot of pieces together with my therapist, and I'm thankful for probably would have grew even a little bit more than what I did during that situation. I had to carry myself and lean on my support system, and then maybe if I had a therapist, another stranger, hey man, I just got injured, I feel like this, that, and another world, and they shift you in a whole different lane. You're like, whoa, like I didn't really think of it like this.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to have a therapist during, very important. So
What advice do you have for athletes hesitant to seek help?
you said, can you repeat that?
I said, what advice do you have for athletes that are hesitant to seek help?
That hesitate. My advice to them would be don't hesitate, because you hesitating might just hinder you for your true potential and true growth that you need at that very moment with whatever issue, problem, challenge that you have, So don't hesitate to be to call that therapist number or just call that number that you need. Like, don't be afraid, because that's their job almost to truly change your perspective on a life situation and help you and guide you and grow you and make you that happy person that you want to be one day. And it's a blessing to have people like that, to like a therapist, is to have mental health people. Like growing up, I know sometimes, with I say my parents always told me, if you need somebody to talk to, come talk to me. But it wasn't like them, they were taught during the time growing up, to be tough, be tough. That's all they tough skinned it. And then some of the situations we go through today, they learned a little bit different how to deal with a lot of those situations, and they taught us some of those habits, and then us. And that's why sometimes I think, some people in our generation, some people in our generation are a little crazy, but those individuals that that are tough, they don't even know it. Like the most mentally broken, some of the strongest, and the most mentally broken but you're put in this blindfold and have to put on this mask, because you were taught that, growing up, versus it being, it's okay to go to that therapist, hey man. But yeah, it's okay, like, to be willing to like step outside the comfort zone and talk to a therapist. We shouldn't be put in situations by our parents or some people, and I support some uncle, aunt, like to not seek help. Because a lot of them, they didn't seek help. And who knows how bad some of their traumatic situations was growing up. My parents grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
I grew up in the hood myself. That's something, we can't, be ashamed of. That's who grew us. But a lot of those situations we went through growing up, it made us who we are today, but we got to learn to look at it from a different perspective than what we already do. I think a therapist for sure will help, So definitely them young guys and young ladies out there, don't be afraid to say, I need help, because we all, have a point in our life where we going to need a helping hand. Like I got a tattoo on me, of a cross, and, it's a man reaching out for his friend's hand, but he's not holding on to anything, but there's a hand coming down, grabbing, for help. Because at the end of the day, we all have our faith in God, but sometimes you got to have faith in a friend.
Yeah.
And faith in your support system. But sometimes, you even gotta, think of it as I'm putting my faith in my therapist just a little bit. I understand, it's a stranger, then you're gonna grow throughout those, because I had to grow with my therapist to really open up, from a different level. It takes time.
Sir, how do you think this has impacted your approach to your life now?
What specifically?
Well, just overcoming injury.
Overcoming the injury. You said
How do you think this has impacted your approach to life now?
how has it impacted? I think my injury has, made me look at life a huge different way. Like it's definitely a difference, with how I look at and my perspective of life because, during my injury, during those hard times and adverse situations, there was challenges I faced mentally, emotionally, physically, but that's what I needed because a lot of things that I encounter now, the stresses of life, the stresses of being truly an adult time, is different, and when you don't have your sport to rely on, where I can wake up every day, just go to class, go to football, go chill in my dorm or something, or go work out. Now it's, I gotta wake up and there's life outside that door, big dog. So a lot of those situations and problems, made me be able to face life, you know, and be a lot bit more smoother about the way I approach things or how I think about things. And sometimes you gotta learn to think twice. I know, we all ain't perfect. You just really gotta learn to think twice and be willing to just be smooth about any situation. And whatever adversity you face, just know on the inside you're gonna get through, And as always, faith will take you a long way.
Do you have any final words for the audience? Anything you want to share? Any shout outs, anything?
Man, I would definitely just say, shout out to my man's Mid over at Mental Wealth, man. Shout out to all my guys back at home. Shout out to my family. Shout out to all my friends, and for sure, shout out to all my people I coach, man, and everybody that continues to play a huge part in my life. Thank you. It's a huge blessing to have all of you around. And another thing, just definitely just shout out to the brand. Be your own brand, training my business, man, and everybody playing a part in that. Definitely my business partner, man, Barry Amos, man. We go way back, and it's nothing but just love to see how everything growing. See people support you, man. It takes you a long way, like I said. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that next step in life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not willing to take that risk, are you really trying to set that standard for yourself? And it'll be all she wrote, man. But just shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody out there, man. For sure. Love.
Sir, if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with you for another piece.